day.
Just a piece of free advice to my Republican friends. It's probably not the best idea to take direction on law and order from a guy who, as we speak, is a defendant for covering up hush money payments to a porn star for political gain. That's not even to mention the other 3 criminal felony prosecutions that he's facing.
Newly convicted. Actually, found guilty. Which, thank God, there is at least some accountability in the world somewhere for Donald Trump. Anywho, if you're unaware, this is Jim McGovern taking the GOP to task for how they claim to be the party of law and order, yet follow a man who could not be less law and order.
And somehow, Madam Speaker, they have the nerve to tell us about the criminal justice system. Give me a break. Their credibility on this issue has evaporated. It is pathetic. And I could go through these bills one by one, but I think the American people would rather watch paint dry.
This delivery is fantastic. Not only is he pointing out that they are no longer really the party of law and order, but he's pointing out the fact that they're actively the opposite. They are actively whatever Daddy Trump wants them to be this week. For example, you know how angry they are about the crisis at the border and we need to build a wall and we need to keep people from coming into this country and taking our jobs, that whole spiel? They actively block bills and will not work with Democrats who are trying to work with them on the border crisis because Trump told them he wants to campaign on it. Also, if we solve anything to do with the border now, all the credit will go to Biden, and that's the last thing the GOP wants.
Congress today, Senate Republicans blocked the bipartisan border security deal that they had originally insisted be packaged with aid for Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel. It's the same deal that Republicans were demanding until a few days ago. But as it turned out, Donald Trump did not want it because he wants to use the border issue against Joe Biden in the fall. And this, I suppose, dashed the bipartisan dreams that Biden spoke of longingly when campaigning for office.
Border this, border that, build the wall. Yeah, they really care about the issue itself. If you ever needed more proof that they don't actually care about the issues they purport to care about, that they just use them to their advantage, I don't know what else you would need. They're all about closing the border, stricter policies, and then actively refuse to work on it so that they can use that issue against the Democrats who are trying to work with them on that issue. They're only the party of law and order because their constituents are back the blue, support your local police. They're not actually the party of law and order. Look at their candidate running for president. He was just found guilty on 34 felony charges. He's found guilty of everything, always, all the time. He's constantly breaking the law, but they're the party of law and order. They've Stockholmed people into believing that they're the party of law and order and somehow also to support a criminal running for president. And they've done what looks like to me a bad job. And yet they still have so many constituents who are on their side. Somehow, who don't see that they're being used.
Mr. Speaker, Republicans have us here today considering 8 measures that aren't worth the paper they're printed on. 6 of the 8 measures that are being brought before this House are being brought forth under completely closed rules, which means nobody, not Democrats, not Republicans, can offer any amendments to change or improve those bills. So much for Republican promises of a more deliberative process or more openness or more fairness. That just went out the window. I don't think I have ever seen a group of people do so much and yet accomplish so little. 7 of these measures are supposedly about law enforcement. And you know how many of them will actually do something to help keep people safe? 0. Zilch. Nada.
The current Republican Party has developed a very it's my way or the highway approach to politics. No amendments to those bills by either party, Republican or Democrat. There is nothing less democratic than that. They pretend to care about what their constituents want. They speak as though they care about what their constituents want. But when it comes to action, if you look at what they're doing, bills they're passing, actions they're taking, they're not doing anything for their constituents. They're not doing anything that their constituents actually want them to do. It's simply become a cult of personality. And it saddens me that the people who still support the fringes of this party don't realize that they're being manipulated, they're being used. They have no idea that they're actually not getting what they want, that they're just being talked in circles and being told emotionally what they want to hear through Newsmax. Every day, it gets a little more and more cult-like. Every day gets a little more and more extreme on their end. And it will be really interesting, considering this is an election year, to see how that turns out in the polls and with the voters. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some of my content that isn't news related, you can check out my personal YouTube channel at Bad Gamer Wyatt. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.